Hello and welcome. Kerry here from Healing Humanity, the Power of a Proper Human Diet, with my friends Adam, Ashley, Lynn, and Todd. How's it going, guys?
Great.
Awesome. Great to
Doing
be
great.
here.
Welcome,
Yes.
welcome.
Fantastic.
So we have a fun live stream in store for everyone. I see a whole bunch of people jumping on to the chat, which is great. We are going to be doing some giveaways tonight. We're going to be answering any questions that you may have. And I think, Adam, we're probably going to do this regularly Tuesday nights. That's the plan, right?
Yep. Every Tuesday.
Awesome. And all of these great individuals that are on here tonight, Adam, Ashley, Lynn, Todd, I've got links in the description below, so make sure you go follow them on YouTube as well. If you want to get entered into the giveaway, you have to use hashtag ribeye. Hashtag ribeye. So if you have a comment, you have a question, we're going to give preferential treatment to the questions because we want to get some good conversations going here tonight. So post your question with hashtag ribeye. And then at the end of the stream, we're going to use a pretty interesting little tool we have to randomly select some winners. And what do we got for prizes, Adam?
Well, first off, before your entry can be counted, you need to go in the description below and then follow each one of the members on the live stream here today, and that'll help qualify you. And then hashtag ribeye in the comments. But we're going to give away 3 1-month memberships to healinghumanity.life. And I believe we were giving away T-shirts also, right, Kerry?
Yes, giving away two T-shirts as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so go in the description, follow all the folks here, and then hashtag ribeye and put your questions in if you have any. While everyone's jumping on here, maybe I'll just give a quick update. We got some pictures too. Maybe we could just show a handful of pictures if anyone in the chat's interested while people are still jumping on. Adam and I just returned from the UK filming for Healing Humanity. We filmed, what are we at now, Adam, in terms of the count of interviews?
I've lost count, Kerry. It's over 40.
Over 40.
Wow.
We did 3 more. And people are going to be like, 40 interviews. This documentary is going to be 12 hours. Well, a lot of the interviews may just be a little portion of the main documentary, but we're doing a subsequent Healing Humanity series. So we're going to have episodes on depression. We're going to have episodes on type 2 diabetes. We're going to have episodes on cancer and aging. And so if you have one of those particular issues or a loved one does, you can show them an episode that'll probably be more impactful for them. And I think it's going to go on forever because, my goodness, over the last couple of weeks, some of these stories that have been coming out of the woodwork are just incredible and they need to be told. And I feel like that's my purpose here, is to get these stories out, be a conduit to get these stories out. And so that's what we're going to continue doing. Maybe while people are still jumping on and posting your questions, if you could post a QQQ with your question, we'd greatly appreciate that. Here's a few pictures I'll share quickly while people are still jumping on. Adam, doesn't it seem like a couple of years ago? That was just a few days ago. That was in Seven Oaks, UK. And that was in the home of Lee Copus, Kent Carnivore. Lee is incredible. Everyone knows Lee's incredible, right? I'm so excited to share his story in the documentary because it's so powerful. The real interesting thing with Lee, too, is just how passionate he is about depression and mental health. All of the trauma he went through losing his colon, you think that would be top of his list, but he's more passionate about the depression that he overcame on a carnivore diet, more so than anything, which is a main part of our documentary. So that was Adam setting things up, testing out the chair. We had a tight space to work in. It was really cozy. We had to move the Christmas tree into the kitchen and move some things around. But in the end, as Adam normally does, he got some amazing shots of Lee. It looks absolutely incredible. Great background. Lee looked great. Lee did great. The whole UK thing, I'm not trying to overhype it. I try to choose my words carefully, and I couldn't be happier with what we filmed there. It just kept getting better and better, too. We filmed Lee, and then we filmed Alex, and then we filmed Lauren, and every one of them just knocked it out of the park. Incredibly inspiring stories. Those were a couple ribeyes from Lee's Chart Farms. That's where he gets all of his meat from. And Adam and I got to go with him to Chart Farms and film him, which was incredible. That's one of the things we've been trying with the documentary, is to get more footage of B-roll, people doing their daily carnivore stuff as opposed to just talking on camera. This is oxtail soup that Lee made us. Conveniently, when we left Lee's home, I forgot some equipment there. Whether or not that was an accident, I don't know, but it ended up happening that Lee had to come over to our place and bring some oxtail soup over, and we cooked up some steaks, and we had a great dinner with Lee afterwards. Let's see. Oh, I think this was the Power Bowl breakfast the next day. I made a Power Bowl the next day. Alex Cannon came over. I got to meet him for the first time, and he loves the Power Bowl. There's the setup with Alex getting interviewed. Alex was a little nervous beforehand, and then he sat down and acted like a complete professional, like he's been doing this his entire life. He went into this subconscious flow that was just incredible. I am like, just go. He stopped in like 15 minutes. Like, do you want to ask a question? I'm like, no, man, you're nailing every question I had. Just continue doing exactly what you're doing. So he is one of the nicest, sweetest people I've ever met. And his son Alex, he's so proud of his son Alex Jr. And the beautiful thing was his son Alex Jr. Was likewise so proud of Dad for just the amazing transformation he's had. We got to meet his son, and so he came with too. This was some filming outside, typical England. We had one sunny day, not complaining, but it was pretty cloudy and foggy out, as to be expected. Yeah, Alex was just a natural. Here I am showing Alex some clips of Bill Knott, a little bit of footage that we haven't shared yet. That was pretty fun. He's a huge fan of Bill Knott, and he got to eat some Power Bowls. So this was right before we were shooting some B-roll. So I'll just show a couple more pictures here real quick, and then we'll jump back in. It looks like we're getting some questions coming through on the chat.
Go back to that other picture, Kerry. That's crazy. Alex, he looks, no offense to you guys, but he looks as young as you guys do.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Thank you for mentioning that. He's 66 years old. I said that too. Ashley, when we took this picture, we were looking through them. I paused on this one. I'm like, what am I looking at here? Because for those of you that don't know, Alex came on my channel like a year and a half ago. I don't know, it was a long time ago. And his thumbnail was just crazy. And I took a picture and I printed it out and I had it at my desk. And then I was very blessed to film with Dr. Barry. And I pulled the picture out. I said, guess how old this guy is? And then I did the same thing with Dr. Hampton and Dr. Baker and like 5 of the doctors. And Chafee was like 35. I don't know. And I'm like, he's 65. And Chafee's like, what? So it's remarkable. So
awesome.
Alex is going to be in the aging segment of the documentary, as well as depression, anxiety. Oh, speak of the devil. Look at. I love you, Ashley. That's Alex himself right there. So
there he is.
We love you. We love you, Alex. It was hard leaving. It was hard leaving. It was like leaving a bunch of best friends. So here's Adam filming with Lauren. And there's a little cool bus stop right on the corner. And there's some books there. It was really a cool little spot. So we filmed her there for a little bit. And this was back at the Airbnb, getting some B-roll after the sit-down interview, or actually before the sit-down interview. And that was dinner. So
yes,
that was what, Adam, what was that steak called?
Côte de Boeuf.
Côte de Boeuf. I missed that. I missed that steak. That was incredible. There we were with Lee and Lauren having dinner that night. So there you go. I won't spend all night on the picture show, but wanted to give you guys a couple updates from the UK. It was absolutely incredible. I feel like we've got family now, Adam, in the UK. Like, I really mean that. I feel like those guys are brothers and sisters. It seems that way with other carnivores you meet, right? You have this sort of kinship with them. And I think even more so with these 3 individuals, just for me going through the depression and Lauren's story was crazy. I was telling afterwards, when she was telling her story in the interview, I thought she was trolling me. I'm like, this is like my story. Like, everything she's saying was so similar to mine. Even the esophagus thing we were talking about on the other stream, she had the same diagnosis. Craziness. So there's some updates from the UK. How you guys doing? Adam, Ashley, Lynn, Todd, what's going on? I'm going to go through some of the comments here and now find some of these questions, but feel free.
I'm doing fantastic. I survived the backcountry roads in the UK. So when Kerry talks about him being narrow, I don't think he was intense enough about how incredibly narrow they are. Like, you have to literally slow down to about 1 mile per hour. And you're scraping bushes and shrubs and all kinds of stuff on one side of the car. And Kerry's puckering up. because he feels like we're gonna either drive off a cliff or drive into a wall, and maybe I did, maybe I didn't, I don't know, but
Do they have any? Do they have any dualies there?
What's that?
Do they have any dualies there?
No. So that was the thing. So I have an F-150, and I did not see one single pickup truck there, not one.
Wow.
Yeah, and now I know why they actually developed the Mini Cooper and why it's so popular over there, because I would have one of those for sure.
Wow.
And if we're Adam, I'm so thankful that Adam agreed to drive. He also drove in Australia, so he's used to. When you came home, Adam, any mistakes? Did you go down the wrong side of the road at all?
Yeah. So when I first left the airport, I was having a crossed vision, and I felt like I was on the wrong side of the road when I was on the right side of the road. And as well as I do, when we were driving to breakfast Sunday morning, we had a little close call with oncoming traffic, maybe with or without Dr. Kiltz in the car. So I'll admit it. I thought we were on a one-way road, and I had to turn right up ahead, so I was in the right lane. But their dividing line is white lines. So whereas in the States, the dividing line is yellow lines on a one-lane road. So we had a pretty close call with that, and I felt like the same when I got back to the airport. But I quickly adjusted, so we're back to normal. It's like riding a bike.
The saving grace of the close call was that we had a doctor in the car with us just in case.
Right.
The craziest thing in London, though, was the right turn from the left lane. Every single time you're like, we're going to get T-boned. And then it's like, oh, no, wait a minute. They're not coming from that way. Every single time Adam would do it, I'm like, oh, wait, sorry. Just over and over again. Like I'm in the car with one of my teenage daughters learning how to drive. I felt bad for Adam after a while, but we survived. We made it. Thanks to Adam's driving skills.
That had to be so hard going back and forth too, because you did wrong side in Australia, back to right side, then back to wrong side, now back to right side again.
Yes.
There's weird differences too, right? Because like it's mile per hour in UK, but kilometers in Australia, and it's lots of weird nuance.
Yeah.
All right, should we start jumping into some questions?
Hit it.
All right, so we've got some questions for you. Here's one from Carnivore at 60. This question is for Todd and Kerry both. 2 parts. Why do you think fasting is so important to our health? And 2, what do you think about autophagy and its importance? Todd, you want to go first?
Oh, sure. I think it's important for several reasons. One, for me, just through doing so much fasting lately, it's just healed my lymphedema so much. It's just been absolutely incredible. It's the number one thing that's gotten supposedly incurable lymphedema pretty well cured, at least in my right leg anyways. So, and it's drastically decreased in my left leg, which is incredible. But I think to get rid of, for the autophagy, to get rid of those dormant protein cells and to promote healing, but also just those stressors, everything that seems to be good for the body seems to be these stressors, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's cold plunge therapy, whether it's hyperbaric oxygen therapy. All those stressors create a healing response in the body. And that's one of the things that I found that fasting does so well for me, and so it's just, to me, it's one of the most healing things. It goes hand in hand, especially if you're carnivore and if you're nourished and if you're not in an inflamed state. The autophagy and the mitophagy to heal the mitochondria is absolutely incredible. That's why this year I've done 12 7-day fasts, rolling back every other week, because it's doing so good for my lymphedema that's not supposed to heal. I've lost 11 inches of lymph impacted tissue on my right leg and 9 inches on my left, which is crazy, and they said it wouldn't go away. So that's all in my opinion, it's from fasting, long-term fasting. So
that's incredible. Legendary, Todd. That's awesome. Yeah. For my answer, why do you think fasting is so important? I feel like I just go back to the basics with a lot of this stuff. And I feel like it's what we've done since the start of time. It's very rare that we'd have access to all of this food. we would have hunted a big animal, we would have feasted, and we would have fasted. I think it's incredibly important for our gut health, our gut bacteria, gut biome to heal. I feel like we have an epidemic of leaky gut, and a lot of people don't realize it. And when you're fasting, you're allowing those things to heal. I feel like our stomach is like, thank you, I'm finally getting like a little bit of a break after decades of just putting all sorts of garbage and roughage and seed oils and stuff that we were never intended to consume. So the last thing I'll say is I've fasted a couple times. The last one was the 8-day fast. Every time I fasted, I felt absolutely incredible, and I didn't want it to end. So I'm just listening to my body. It feels good. In terms of autophagy, from what I understand, you're eating away the old cells. I think that's what autophagy means, like eating, auto eating or something like that. So you're getting rid of all those old bad cells. So just the thought of that visually, like purging out the bad stuff and just leaving the good stuff, makes a lot of sense. There's also a lot of benefits for all sorts of different health reasons. So that would be my answer on it. And, the last thing I'll say real quick, when we were filming in the UK, we filmed Lauren Tucker, and she is a big proponent of dry fasting. And that's something I haven't tried yet, and something I'm interested in learning some more about. She sent me some resources to check into a little bit more. So thank you, Carnivore at 60. Great question.
Yeah.
I have something to add to that too. So one of the basics has to do with the fact that so many of us are insulin resistant, and because of our standard American diet. And so fasting is very important to get those insulin levels down. And whether you have prolonged fasts, or whether to you do intermittent fasting, or if for you the fasting is just your in-between meals. Part of the problem with us with the standard American diet is that we don't stop eating. In fact, doctors tell you to eat 5-6 times a day. And so with all of that snacking in between, your insulin levels stay high all day. So one of the best things you can do for yourself is to give yourself that time in between eating, to make sure that you have time to offset when your insulin goes up with eating, have time to offset it so that it can go back down and help cure your insulin resistance, which will help cure so many things.
Good stuff.
And I had one more thing on there because it's crazy, but for me, I don't know a lot of technical answers about why, but for me, it's a mental challenge. And I mean, a lot of what we do sometimes is hard. And so when I've gone into a dedicated fast, it's the mental games, the mind games, and I don't want food to be in control of me anymore. So I go into I'm challenging myself, but I also find that it gets easier and easier the more often you do it. I can easily do a 24-hour fast without even thinking about it. And then now I have to realize it and go, oh, wait a second. So I think spacing out that time, and it's practice, just like anything else. It becomes easier. The first couple of fasts I tried were very, very difficult because I wasn't hungry. I just mentally was like, hey, I'm not going to eat. So I challenged myself. And that's one of the things I think sometimes we have to do is just get out there and really challenge ourselves to achieve new things, especially as we change our habits.
Good stuff.
Carnivore at 60 had a follow-up to that. I can't bring it up, but he's down there a couple.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I don't see it.
Yeah, are you in the starred comments, Kerry, or just?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, it's down there about 4 or 5.
What's the timestamp?
Oh, there we go. I see.
Yeah.
I just found out I cured my skin cancer with the proper human diet and fasting. Anyone else on the panel hear of others curing cancer?
Yep.
Man.
Daryl Odom. So he's cured two types of cancers. So I actually interviewed him, and you can check out his video on my channel, Carnivore Today. Daryl's a really awesome guy. We met him at Hack Your Health.
Yeah.
And, I don't even remember where Hack Your Health was.
New Orleans Carnivore, right? New Orleans?
Austin. Yes. Yeah. NOLA Carnivore.
NOLA Carnivore. That's it.
Yeah. Great channel and great guy. And yeah, he healed 2 types of cancer. So that's personally somebody that I know. What about you guys?
Dr. Nelson, I think, right? He had some very good success.
That's right.
Yeah, shout out Dr. Nelson. He's incredible.
Yeah, I remember the name of the woman that Dr. Baker interviewed. I wish I did, or I'd put the link in the description. But I remember he interviewed a woman who had stage 3 ovarian cancer. And she decided to forego chemo and radiation, and I know that there's a lot that doctors that say, let's do this in conjunction, but she just personally for herself decided to just do the carnivore diet and reversed her ovarian cancer.
Yeah. I've got a couple others I was thinking of too. We've got Tammy Peterson. She was diagnosed with stage 4 terminal cancer, and she was on carnivore diet, and she credits carnivore and prayer, and she's in complete remission for several years now. So that's a big one there as well. We also, for the documentary, we filmed Maggie Jones, who was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and has been in remission for several years. Man, the more I'm thinking about it, there's a lot. We have Ronnie Campbell, who is one of our Healing Humanity heroes that we had featured on our membership site. And she's been in remission for several years from a very serious stage 4 cancer. And she's absolutely thriving. But she, I guess to be fair, she wasn't on carnivore initially. She was doing some other things and fasting, and then she kind of transitioned to carnivore. She's full on carnivore now. But she said if she would have known about carnivore, could have gone back, she definitely would have been doing it before. But she was on the spectrum, I guess, of proper human diets at that point as well. So yeah, quite a few examples. A couple that'll be in the documentary.
Of course, you filmed Dr. Seafried too, and the incredible work he's done.
Yeah, I can't wait to share that. We filmed Professor Seafried. For anyone that's interested in learning more about cancer as a metabolic disease with metabolic treatments, Google research, look up Professor Seafried. He's been talking about cancer as a metabolic disease for 30 years now. He advocates for fixing your metabolic health and fasting and all sorts of things for cancer. And he's done some incredible work there. As Ashley mentioned, Adam and I were blessed to film him at Boston College, and 4 or 5 individuals in his lab there at Boston College that are working on cancer and from different capacities. Those are the guys that should be getting all the funding, in my opinion, but we don't have to go down that route. But they're doing some absolutely incredible work there. All right. Let's see. Oh, I want to do a quick shout out before we go to the next question. We have our amazing membership site now. Some of you may not be aware of it, but we're offering a 50% off. I'm going to post it in the chat here. 50% off the membership site if you use code LIFED50. It's healinghumanity.life, and you use code LIFED50. You can look in the chat for that, or you can there's a link in the description. I am so excited about the membership site. So many of the folks that are here on the call right now put so much work into the membership site. It's incredible. We've got courses that you can take. We have multiple Zoom calls throughout the week. I was getting a lot of people on my YouTube channel that wanted some more assistance and some more guidance. They're just starting carnivore, and you really need that when you're starting, because we're living in a world where us carnivores are the odd ones out. Having community can be really powerful, and at least, or especially, I should say, for the first 30 days, if not 60 days or longer, getting started. So that was some of the reasons behind starting this membership site, to give people some more community and to inspire people. It seems like a lot of people come to my channel because they want to be inspired, and we're trying to do that in the membership site. So we've got multiple Zoom calls. We got Dr. Baker coming up in a little while as one of our experts, but every week we do multiple Zoom calls. And so you can get 50% off that now using the code in the description. Is there anything else we should shout out? I probably missed a few things there.
In the private chat, I added the text for the banners. So I just need to put this up there for the giveaway. And also
nice.
the meetups. So we have a meetup in Arizona coming up on January 4th. So if you want to join us there, Bella will be there. Coach Lisa will be there. Kerry will be there. Lynn will be there. Todd will be there.
Ashley will be there. All of us here will be there.
Yes, Dr. Kiltz will be there. Renee will be there. Amy will be there. Laura Spath will be there. Her husband Chris will be there. So you can go and hang out with us at that meetup, and then we're also doing a dinner afterwards. Ashley so graciously helped set that up, and then we have another one in Chicago. So healinghumanity.movie/events, and we're going to try to get those links to you in the chat too.
And the one in Chicago is January 11th. So for those who are in that area, Chicago's January 11th. I will say for the meetup, the portion that we're doing, there are definitely some tickets available, but the one restaurant is limited. So if you're interested in going, you need to get your tickets soon. Unfortunately, we can't expand the size of that restaurant. So as much as we'd love to take over and keep on going, we're gonna have to cut those tickets off at some point. So if you're interested, buy your tickets now, because I have a feeling they're gonna sell out pretty quickly.
And you're down to just like 9 VIP tickets, aren't you, Ashley?
Yes, we have some VIP tickets available if you want the full experience. That includes the meetup, the dinner, really cool swag bag from Healing Humanity with shirt, hat, some other goodies that are in there. You'll also get a VIP seat at the table with a lot of the influencers. So what an incredible opportunity to sit there right next to Kerry and Laura Spath and Bella and Todd and those who are going to be at that table. That'll be incredible. So.
And reserve seating.
And reserve seat in the theater. That's right.
I'm excited too because my mom's going to be coming. So we got that going on. And she's carnivore too, by the way. Right? My mom is, I apologize on behalf of my mom if you guys have a Facebook group about carnivore. She's quite prolific at posting stuff. It's pretty awesome. She's really excited about everything we're doing. But my mom and stepdad have both been carnivore now for 600 days. And they're absolutely thriving, and they're traveling around the world. And she's really excited about this whole movement we got going with Healing Humanity. So it's going to be fun having her out. I told her we got to get you on stage and share your story, and she wasn't too excited about that idea. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So.
And we should repeat too that for the drawing, I know that for anyone who came in a little bit later, for the drawing at the end, you need to put hashtag ribeye in the comments to be entered in the drawing.
Yep. Follow all of the YouTube channels that you see here on the screen, and it's in the comments section of the video as well. And then that'll help to qualify you for the drawing. And then just type in hashtag ribeye, and that will give you an entry.
Yeah. Got a bunch of stuff we're giving away at the end of the call, so make sure it's gonna be fun. So let's take a couple more questions here. We got Pa Beater. Couldn't we just not eat carbs and still get all the benefits? Anyone want to take that one? I'll take a shot at it quick. I get this comment all the time, and it drives me nuts. Of course, if we get rid of all of the junk food, it's going to level you up from the standard American diet where you were, but it isn't the entire puzzle, in my opinion. It wasn't until I added that fatty meat back that my hormones balanced, regulated, my sleep improved, my depression lifted. I feel like I was deficient in that fatty meat. I think that's a big part of it. It isn't just simply getting rid of the junk food. Of course, that's a big part of the puzzle. But in my opinion, that's not all of the puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that view is out there, right? Because that coincides with the calorie restrictive nonsense that's been shoved down everybody's throat, right? Because the idea behind that is, well, if we just restrict some of this stuff, but that's not why carnivore is so awesome. It's not the restricting that's, I mean, yeah, restricting poison for sure, that helps, but it's the healing from the nutrients that we weren't getting. I mean, the fact of the matter is that I had to eat a lot of protein, even at 700 pounds to lose weight. I mean, it's crazy that you can be 700 pounds and malnourished, but that's the reality of it. Wow. And so this idea that's beaten to all of our heads, and it drives me insane, because it's like, would you sit here and be like, hey, if we build that house out of styrofoam and Legos, you know, and you know, a limited amount of that house is going to be, you know, better off. Like, it's going to be more structurally sound. You know, we don't do that in anything else. We build it out of the best, most dense, strong materials, you know, but only in our body do they tell us, even the experts tell us, eat less calories, eat, you know, these nutriently deficient, you know, vegetables that almost have nothing in them but fiber that our body doesn't absorb, and, you know, all this empty junk. And it's this idea of restricting is going to make us healthy. And then look what's happening to everybody. You know, it's just, it's incredible. So yeah, it's the healing of the meat to me, you know?
Yeah. And so many people, obviously we know that vegetables are included in the carbs category, but so many people think that the only carbs are like the starchy white carbs, and that's what they're talking about is, well, can't we just get rid of those, continue to eat the vegetables, continue to eat all the salads and the fruit, and so I absolutely agree with you guys. And the fiber is not just we can't digest it, but it also prevents your absorption of a lot of the nutrients that you get from those vegetables that you're eating. And so they just kind of go right through. Whereas when you eliminate them, you have an opportunity to actually absorb the nutrients from the meat and the fats. So it's like, not how much are you getting? And then that doesn't even factor in the anti-nutrients, the toxins that are inflammatory to your system. So there's so many other things that we all know as carnivores, but people don't know that until they can start to dig in and actually do some research and learn about what those vegetables actually do in your body and how we're just not designed to process them.
Good stuff. All right. Let's see. We have another question here. Jesse is asking, what do you eat when you have terrible GERD? Meat hurts. Do you take supplements to help?
I can tackle that one.
Sure.
So there's definitely a lot of factors that go into GERD. So, I mean, my first question would be, have you been to see a doctor to get it evaluated? Because some people do have a loose gastroesophageal sphincter, and that's why you have GERD in the first place. And so finding out, making sure that you figure out if there's an underlying anatomical issue, that would be one of the things to factor in. But another thing is with your meat, what seasonings are you including on the meat? So there are some seasonings that can cause you to have more GERD issues. So have you tried the meat with just salt and see whether or not you do better with just salt? Are you chewing very well? So some people have issues where, it sits there too long. Do you have possibly a little bit of gastroparesis where it sits in your stomach too long? That could be an issue. How long have you been eating carnivore? Because at the very beginning, often you have worse GERD before your stomach acid adjusts. So there's all these factors to consider. Honestly, if you have persisting GERD, and this is just my experience as a GI nurse, it's not ideal to have to take the acid blocking medication, but if you can't get it under control and you're seeing your doctor and your doctor says, yeah, let's get you on some acid blocking medication to protect your esophagus, you may need to while you're trying to get it all figured out. I mean, when I was first on the carnivore diet, I was on a very high dose of acid blocking medication and I was able to wean off. It could also be fat. So look and see how much fat you're consuming. If you don't have a gallbladder, it might be, a little more difficult, or you might need to just ease into getting fat adapted if you're not there yet. So there's all these factors. So I would say, look at the seasonings, work with your doctor, look at your fat intake, make sure you're chewing your food really well. Don't drink water while you're eating. Make sure you keep your water separate from your food intake. Give it, an hour on either side if you need to. And then hopefully it'll clear up. But not, make sure you work with your doctor.
All right. Question from Stephanie Smith. Carnivore 3 months, keto 4 years, 5'1", 158 pounds. I've lost 30 pounds mostly on my own, a little with Zepbound, 15 pounds. Eat 1,700 calories per day. Thoughts to help?
Now, first of all, what is Zepbound? Does anyone know what Zepbound is?
I was just Googling it. I think it's, let me see what it says here. Anti-diabetic medication used for treatment of type 2 diabetes and for weight loss. Subcutaneous injection.
Is that like a GLP-1?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, that's sort of a complicated one, but eating 1,700 calories a day, maybe experiment with eating more and incorporating more fat. I know that's calories in, calories out isn't exactly the same for everyone. So I would definitely experiment with eating more and see if that can kickstart that weight loss. That seems to be the case for a lot of people. And, maybe just eat a little bit more one day and then eat a little bit more than that the next day. So gradually increase it, so you're not trying to stuff yourself and make yourself uncomfortable and potentially sick. That's where I would start.
I want to point out 30 pounds in 3 months is phenomenal.
Right.
That's 10 pounds a month.
That was going to be my
So, I
follow-up
guess
question. What do we need help with?
Is that 30 pounds since you started keto 4 years ago, or is that 30 pounds in the last 3 months since being carnivore? So, because that can make a difference. Because if it's over 4 years and 3 months, then that's completely different. So, I would want to know, how much have you lost since you started carnivore, and also, are you taking body measurements? Because I've been on carnivore for going on 19 months. I have gained almost 26 pounds of muscle, and I've gained almost 2 pounds of bone. I do use a smart scale. So, grab a smart scale if you don't have them. They're not that expensive. I use a Renfo smart scale that I got on Amazon, and it can really help you understand what's happening with your body composition and make sure you're taking measurements. But that would kind of be my initial feedback. And then also too, just for my viewpoint, I don't know what kind of carnivore you're doing. Are you doing dairy? Dairy could be stalling you. Are you doing sweeteners like stevia? That can cause problems with little spikes in your blood sugar. Possibly you be more sensitive depending on your health issues. You may need to do a lion diet. I had to do a lion diet for a year. So there's a lot of factors. So I would say, take a look at the different things that I mentioned there and just evaluate. But you may need to maybe get rid of dairy if you're doing dairy. You might have a histamine issue like I had. You might need to go low histamine. And some of the things you're eating might be inflammatory because of histamine. So there's the whole bunch of factors that can play into that.
Right.
Yeah, you're right, Lynn. And I broke my own rule, giving advice before asking what they're actually eating, because that 1,700 calories a day is that 1,700 calories of protein, right? Like, how much of that is fat? So yeah, it's really to give a better answer. We kind of need to know exactly what it is that you're eating.
Right. That's a good transition to the next question, because the next question is from carnivore coach Lisa Pickert. And this might be a case for Stephanie where maybe coaching or more community or more help, because you need some more context maybe for situations like this, could be helpful. Coach Lisa asks, Kerry, where has been your favorite location? And then a couple down, she asks, Adam, where has been your favorite location, I think, for filming the documentary? Quick shout out, Carnivore Coach Lisa. She is awesome, incredible. She's got a couple courses in the membership site, and she's amazing. And she's going to be in Arizona with us. Yeah, she's going to be
in Arizona,
sharing her story down in Arizona. Coach Lisa's awesome.
Personally, as a woman, I cannot wait to meet Coach Lisa. I have communicated a little bit with her email. So, Coach Lisa, I'm going to come after you and give you a hug.
Right. She's very passionate. She's very passionate about what she's doing, and she knows her stuff. She's incredible. So my favorite location.
I have a goal to be as fit as her when I'm in my 60s.
Right.
So, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Where's been your favorite location? That's a tough question. Adam and I, we almost have to sit down and go because it's becoming a blur now. Like we've been all over the world at this point. Oh, I know the answer. Oh, it took me a while. Alaska. Bill Knott's in the chat too. Alaska, by far, Alaska is just incredible. Hatcher's Pass, Alaska is my favorite place, I think, on the entire planet. The second close one would be the UK. As crazy as that sounds, as gloomy and cloudy as it was, there's just something cozy and nice that just vibed with me. I really, the people in the UK were awesome too. So Alaska followed by UK. What do you think, Adam? What was your favorite location filming the documentary?
As far as sightseeing, probably the UK. When we went to St. Paul's Cathedral, that was absolutely phenomenal. It's like the number one wonder of the world, in my opinion. How in the world did they build it? But as far as personal things, every single trip is my favorite, because these people are sharing things with us that are very private, very intimate, and very moving, very emotional, very inspirational. And it's really an honor to make a connection with these folks and just be a part of it. So I'd say every trip on a personal level, but as far as sightseeing, I really liked the UK. It was really cool.
Yeah. Well said. I'm at the point now where I'm excited that we've done over 40 interviews and we're on the home stretch, just a handful more to go. But it's kind of sad at the same point. But on the flip side, we're going to end up doing the series and end up doing this for longer. It's also been really interesting these last several interviews where you go into an interview with some preconceived notions. You know what you're going to ask. You got a kind of good idea. And then you come out with every single interview with learning something that you never would have imagined learning. And that's what happened with the 3 interviews in the UK and most of the interviews in Australia too. It's happening a lot. So that's always a lot of fun too. So great question. Carnivore Phil asking, have any of you noticed improved hair growth or reversing hair loss? Carnivore diet.
Todd?
Oh, I think you're muted, Todd.
Shoot, sorry. Yeah, I said, oh yeah, for sure. Some good, some unsettling, for sure. My eyebrows grew back. That's awesome. I lost those from hypothyroidism. And then I started growing hair in my head. I went bald when I was 18, like bald. And my hair's growing back. And it's not a pretty thing to look at right now. I look like a Cabbage Patch doll that went through a fire or something, but it's coming back in patches. It's really weird. And then my beard hair is out of control. I mean, I'm eating up razors like I've never eaten up razors before. Like I'm so tired of shaving. It's stupid. It's not even 5 o'clock shadow anymore. It's like 12:30 shadow. By noon, I feel like I got to reshave. I don't know what's going on with the hair on Carnivore.
Wow.
But yeah, it comes back like crazy. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope that this is going to all come back, but you can't quite see it on here. But this thing is covered in fuzz everywhere that I haven't had since I was 18 years old, and I do not know why. But maybe it'll come back. Maybe it's just, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but tons of hair.
Hormones. They're getting balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going on.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, here's another question. I got to step away for just a second, but I'm going to post this and let you guys take this one. I'll be right back. How long does it take to get fat adapted?
Awesome. So before we take this question, what you guys think of who wants to answer this, but I want to let everybody know that there's a lot of questions in here. So we're probably only going to go for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we're going to try to get every single one of these questions answered. Obviously, super chats are going to get priority. Those are get answered first. But if we don't get to them, our membership site, healinghumanity.life, we have 2 live Q&As every single week. It's very cheap to join. If you want to join with us, it's coupon code LIFED50, and the website's healinghumanity.life. So I just wanted to shout that out in case we don't get your question answered. You can go join our private community and get your questions answered there and hang out with what I like to call the Good Vibe Tribe. So it's a very welcoming space, and hang out with a lot of like-minded people that really have an interest to see you succeed. So does anybody want to take this question?
I was gonna say great discussions on in there too. It's not just the live. The lives are great too, but even just the comments and continuing ongoing comments with everybody sharing, it's great.
For sure.
Yeah, and Kerry literally takes these questions from his YouTube channel that don't get answered and brings them into our live Q&A. And so we can have full-on discussions and sometimes lively discussions about it. So it's really interesting and enjoyable for sure. But yeah, fat adapter really depends on you. I mean, it depends on, first of all, do you have a gallbladder? Do you not have a gallbladder? So there's, it really just depends on yourself. It depends on your own enzymes, your own bile production, the status of your gallbladder. So I don't have a gallbladder, and I went slower with increasing my fat. So for me, and it took me maybe a couple of months, but that was my own individual situation. I don't know if there's a standard answer to that.
Yeah, that one's tough. It took me a long time too, especially with kind of a compromised lymphatic system, you know, that slows things down with fat adaptation too, especially for stored fat. But one thing that definitely, and I don't recommend doing this until you get nourished, but one thing that definitely put fat adaptation for me in overdrive was dry fasting. When I started dry fasting, that makes your body go after stored metabolic fluid out of your fat cells. And so it puts it in hyperdrive to create these metabolic pathways for fat adaptation to your stored fat, which really helps. And so actually, when I started doing dry fasting, that really kicked it to high gear. But you got to be careful and you got to not try to rush it, because you really do have to get your gut together. You have to be able to, like Lynn said, be able to break down the fat. And the earlier stages, also some amino acid therapy really helped me be able to digest the fat as well.
All right. Next question we have is from A Beautiful Day 121. That's right. Question: I'm a young 70 and have been doing carnivore on and off for a year, as I'm healing and still have moments of sickness. What do you eat when meat seems too much? I'll take that one quick. That doesn't rarely happens for me. If it did, advice I've heard from others, including, I remember Amanda from Carnivorous Me said this before. If you ever feel like meat is too much or you get a meat aversion, fasting for a little bit usually seems to help. Or maybe switching to some bone broth for a little while could help. Eggs are another one. Maybe just have some eggs for a while. Those would be some ideas from my side.
Bone broth for sure. I would say bone broth is excellent.
Yeah, and my question would be, what's causing the on and off? And so, is there meat aversion? That could be a factor as to why there's an on and off. I know that when I don't crave meat, it's usually because I'm actually truly not hungry. If meat is unappetizing, then I just wait and just go with fluids, and then the meat will become appetizing when I'm actually truly hungry. So it's kind of hard to say. Sure. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Papa Carnivore, what do you say to family, friends, coworkers who question your way of eating as dangerous and harmful and not sustainable?
Smile and wave. And then
Compared to what?
And eat it.
Compared to what is what I say every time.
Right.
I would say if Kerry can defeat ChatGPT like he did on his video today, then there's plenty of great arguments. And if you haven't seen that video, you need to watch that. That was fantastic.
And I would ask why do you say that? I tend to, when I have people ask me, make statements like that, I tend to not automatically jump to defending it and and answering them. I like to ask qualifying questions. So I just ask them, why do you say that? And ask them to explain where they're coming from. Well, and usually they can't. It's like, well, that's what I heard. Then you can go, really, from where? From who? Can you show me? And it just flips the whole conversation.
Yeah.
So that they're needing to prove their ideology. And then, of course, you can share. If they start to go, oh, yeah, I guess this is just kind of hearsay from my part, then maybe they'll be a little more open to listening to you. And you don't want to turn into an argument, but I think it's really valid to just ask them, honestly, yeah, really, why do you say that? Right.
My family and friends, we have a get together. Husband and wife walks in. They're like, don't say anything about meat around this guy. Like, shut up. He's not going to shut up about it. They all know. Yeah, usually I'll do the same thing. If anyone legitimately talks to me, I'll just say I've been doing this for 638 days now. And then I'll list off for about 25 minutes all of the crazy health improvements I've had. Literally, I have nothing wrong with me. So when is this danger and harmfulness going to present itself?
Yes.
And then you get the foolish one every now and then that you're just a ticking time bomb, even though I've reversed my congestive heart failure. It's all in my medical records. Everything is by far measurably better. Those people,
measurably. This is a point for making sure you get your baseline labs done. Because if you want to be able to show them something, have those baseline labs, have the follow-up labs, because it's really hard to argue. with your results, and then you can show them.
Absolutely.
That is the most absolute frustrating part when they look at, this just happened about a week ago, but when they look at you and go, well, man, you look great. You're half the size, but aren't you worried that you're going to die of a heart attack? I'm like, no, I was worried I was going to die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
In fact, I was dying of a heart attack. I had congestive heart failure, but now I don't worry about a dang thing because I'm down 300 pounds and I don't have to breathe on an oxygen tank anymore. Like,
no kidding. That's mind-blowing, right?
Unbelievable.
Right.
yeah, I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, that's when you really start to see how indoctrinated people really are. And we all were there. I'm not picking on anybody, but how we really bought into that stuff, and also how defensive of our addiction to sugar we get when it's threatened, by somebody doing something out of the box, and you're wondering, maybe that means that I should do something like that. And it irritates people. It's crazy.
Right.
Well, I mean, all of us were skeptical at one point, right? I mean, because we all had that mindset before, and all of us at one point got to a point where we're like, okay, well, maybe there's something to this. So for some of us, it was an example. Some was someone else. It was someone we saw, and we're like, wow, they can do it. I mean, for me, that was the easiest thing. I saw somebody who was effective at it. I thought, I can handle this because I just love eating meat. Like, so it wasn't a challenge. You mean I don't have to eat all the vegetables? And so that was great. But I think a lot of times, just especially if it's family, friends, coworkers who see you often, your example will be the result of why they start then asking those probing questions later on, or really thinking a little bit harder about it, and pull you aside quietly and say, all right, tell me a little more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and the sustainable part of the question is something that you can only share your own experience. You can just say, well, for me, it has been sustainable, and you can explain like how or why. And there's so many others that have been able to sustain it. So you can definitely attest that for you, it's sustainable.
Absolutely.
Go super chat.
Super chat. All right. Let's
From
see.
the amazing, the incredible
Lori, Carnivore Cheer. Shout out. Another wonderful YouTube channel, Carnivore Cheer. Lori, I found that eating a small amount of butter for breakfast and then a lunch with beef, bacon, and or eggs works best. I sometimes have hard-boiled eggs for lunch.
Oh, man. Now I'm hungry.
Right. Good tip. Thank you, Lori.
Absolutely. I got to give a quick shout out for Lori. So Lori's an incredible and kind soul. I love her to death. We had the pleasure of meeting her in Montello, which was absolutely amazing. But, with our membership site, healinghumanity.life, her profession is technical writing, and she knocked it out of the park with all the how-tos on that membership website. So literally, if you have any issues or problems whatsoever on figuring out how to do something in that group, Lori is the one that wrote all of that stuff, and it's very clear and concise. And I needed to shout that from the rooftops and give her credit for that, because it's amazing.
Shout out, Lori.
Like 60 how-tos, detailed step-by-step instructions on how to do pretty much everything you could possibly encounter on the site.
Yeah.
We got to shout out, what an amazing group of individuals working on this thing. Group of carnivores too, by the way, as a side note, but working on this membership site. It's really awesome. I'm going to just show this real quick. This is just real short. It's just a couple seconds, but just to give you guys, there's a lot of new people on here that might not even know what we're talking about. So here we go.
Quick interruption. Did you know we have an incredible membership site for you called healinghumanity.life? We have a special offer going on right now. Learn more at the link in the description. We have courses. We have expert Q&As with the good doctors. We even have a Healing Humanity Heroes Zoom call once a week, highlighting real heroes that will inspire you on a path to healing. The community is wonderful. We're going to be implementing a buddy system so you can be held accountable, recipes, all sorts of great stuff to help you on a path to healing. Learn more at the link in the description below.
So let's have Lynn kind of explain what that buddy system is. So that's linked to our Breaking Addictions. And can you talk a little bit about that, Lynn?
So we have there we have many groups on the site, but one of our groups is called Breaking Addictions, and it's a really good group to be in if you are struggling with food addiction, which so many of us have been. And we have a program that is based on the well-established, successful 12-step program that was originally established by Alcoholics Anonymous, but we are applying it in working steps, and we're all carnivores. So unlike Overeaters Anonymous, where you are sitting in a room with people who are trying unsuccessfully to lose weight using the standard American diet, we are sitting here virtually with a group of carnivores and working the 12 steps. And through that, you can have, just like with any other anonymous program, have a sponsor. And so we have sponsors that will work with you and be able to text back and forth, do phone calls, whatever, to help you as you go through and work the steps.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Adam. I just want to say real quick, that has been one of my favorite. There's so many cool parts in the membership site. That has been one of my favorite parts. That was a big realization I had. It took me a while on carnivore that I was addicted to food, and that was the reason I yo-yoed, and I had some success on keto, but I tried to go back to moderation, and it truly was an addiction. We got a lot of great Zoom calls every week with the doctors and the experts and the Inspire together, but the Breaking Addictions calls are some of my favorites. We have one tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we have one tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central Time, and it is anonymous. So that is the group where we do not record the meetings. And yeah, it's very good. It's been so far, it's been helping people, which is so wonderful. And, it's such a blessing to be able to be part of that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be on the call tomorrow for sure.
And it's not just for food addiction, it's any addiction.
Right.
Yeah.
Question from Nancy. Do you ever pinch yourself, Kerry? Look at how much your life has changed in under 2 short years. Yeah. Yes, Nancy. I was pinching myself about 5 or 6 days ago when I was walking down the pavement. It's not called a sidewalk there. It's called pavement with Dr. Kiltz in the United Kingdom. I'm like, this is crazy. I keep saying to my wife, Jen, who can probably hear me in the other room over there, you're gonna shake me awake and I'm gonna be in a mental hospital. Like, really? I ate carnivore, I did all this, and here we are. We're traveling around even like the UK thing. Being with Dr. Kiltz is just an incredible blessing. That man is absolutely amazing. I can't believe he flew all the way out there to support us. It just means the world to me. Flying in a plane, never would do that prior to. I had so much anxiety around doing things like that. I could care less right now. Going in the UK, we spoke in front of a huge group, Healing Humanity, Inspiring Carnivore Stories. I would have rather, if you paid me $1 million, I'd rip it up. I would not. You couldn't pay me $1 million to speak in front of a group. Love it now, embrace it now. So, yeah, absolutely. I'm very thankful, grateful, blessed, Nancy. I'm pinching myself all the time. I can't believe it for sure. Brian has a question from Nook. Am I saying that right? Nuck, Greenland. Can anyone comment about gout on carnivore? Mm-hmm. Anyone here? Gout?
Yeah, I had gout terrible bad before carnivore, and it healed up. I don't know why carnivore heals up gout exactly. I think it has something to do with, carbs causing, lactic and uric acid. But I don't know. I used to have 5-6 terrible gout flare-ups every year that were absolutely miserable. And I had maybe the first 6 months, I had 1 or 2 on carnivore, and I haven't had one in almost 18 months, and I'm very happy. So definitely went away, and I've definitely heard a lot of other people say their gout went away on carnivore, but I do not know why. So
yeah, same with me. I've never found out if I truly had gout, but I have several diagnoses of gout. The last doctor I went to said it's just a ton of inflammation. I don't know what it is, but it went away on carnivore, and I suffered for 18 months prior to starting carnivore. I would be using mobility scooters when I'd go to the grocery store. It would flare up and it would get so bad I couldn't put any pressure down. It felt like a fractured bone. It was horrible. It was kind of one of the last big culminating issues I had in terms of my health that was really putting me over the edge there near the end. That was one of the things, though, I will say that took a little bit longer on carnivore. I had a lot of things heal pretty quickly. It happened a little bit slower. I think it was around day 70 or 80 that it started going away. I was so excited for that. I don't understand all of it. Inflammation going away, maybe. I'm not sure, but I do know that Dr. Berry has an excellent video on gout. So if you have gout and you think, oh, because a lot of people have gout and they're like, I can't eat meat, I have gout, that's going to make it worse. I'm here to tell you that is wrong. Dr. Berry gets into the reasons why. He did an excellent video on it. So
I'm pretty sure now, I could be wrong on this, but my understanding is that it's also that your body can better utilize the uric acid and better use it. So it's not accumulating like it does when you're on the standard American diet. And then also something to note is that when you go on a carnivore diet and you have a history of gout, that you could have 1, maybe 2 more flares before it settles down, but then it typically tends to go away. So don't be surprised if you end up with a gout flare. They're usually milder than your standard American diet flares, but you may end up with a gout flare. So don't worry, it's not the carnivore diet causing the flare. That's just very common.
Yeah, and pro tip too, if you get gout on carnivore, or anytime I should say, those shake plates. Same with cramps, leg cramps. Those shake plates help push them along very quickly. So that also is crazy, but it seems to get rid of that stuff in the joints. It definitely breaks up the both the cramps and the gout. When I'd use my shake plate, they went away like that, like in hours instead of days. So for whatever that's worth.
Absolutely, because that emphasizes the importance of the lymphatic system, which we often ignore, but we need to keep things moving because that cleans up the waste.
Cranky Carnivore Cutler, what is your favorite cooking method? I think I know Adam's answer. Is it the same, Adam? What are you going with nowadays?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm tending to go towards the smoker and then a quick sear on the little egg grill, like you do. But yeah, my go-to is always sous vide. So you can use a cheaper cuts of meat like chuck. That's very, very fatty, like a ribeye. And you can make it just as tender as a ribeye. Just plop it in the water and leave it there for 24 hours, pull it out and sear it, and you're good to go. It's very, very, I'd say umami flavor. It's not quite like a ribeye, but it's got a little bit more of a richer flavor, in my opinion. So yeah, that's one of my favorites. I also like sous vide ribeye as well. So
I've got
Ashley question too.
Yeah,
Mr.
Ashley and Todd.
I every method is amazing, but yes, it's funny. I love experimenting and trying them all. And the smoker, low and slow, is always my go-to with most anything if I have time for it. But I've got a air fryer that if I don't have time for it, I love cooking a steak and a ribeye too. But I have to side with Adam now. I got a sous vide for the first time, and I did my first sous vide, big thick ribeye in it, and it was amazing. Yeah, so it's more accustomed to the slow cooker. But what I love about the sous vide is you can get it to a temperature, have it ready to go, and stay there until you're ready to eat. So convenience wise, that's also a fantastic way of doing it. And then just hot sear and ready to go.
Here's one you can try. Ashley. Put the ribeye in the smoker, like super cold. Not the smoker's not cold. Put the ribeye in super cold and smoke it for a little while, and then take it out and then sous vide
it. Wow.
I do it the other way around.
You can do it either way. You can do it either way.
Yeah, because I'll take a brisket and I'll sous vide it for 84 hours, and then I finish it on cold smoke on the smoker for about 6 or 7 hours.
There you go.
Cold smoke the outside of it, and that's the best of both worlds, in my opinion.
I've not tried that one. That one's next then.
And if you're a lazy cook like me, sous vide is awesome because you can take it frozen and just stick it in the sous vide. And like Ashley said, when you're ready, it's there. And then I just air fry it. But I mean, it also depends on the cut. Like roasts, I like them in the crock pot.
Yep.
Just put it in a slow cooker. But I don't usually roast things in the oven. My bacon, I just lay it out in a cooking sheet and put it and bake it in the oven.
Yeah.
I make a lot of time.
Right. I'm similar. I like the low and slow, hot and fast method. You can do it many different ways, but interestingly, Ashley might be proud of me. I just right over there, I've got a brisket going right now. I wasn't gonna make it up to it's a flat, and it's a couple hours ago. My daughter was like, speaking of pinching myself, my girls are all doing carnivore now. Emma made me a ribeye for lunch today, which was incredible. I've been the one that's primarily cooking everything for everyone, so she made me that. And then my oldest daughter's like, put this on the smoker, please. Like I'm hungry, so I'm like, all right. If it gets done late, it gets done late. So, yeah, I love the smoker. That's my favorite cooking method: smoking and searing, low and slow, hot and fast. Question from Bill. My husband just was diagnosed with LVH. Has been dealing with high blood pressure for years and never wanted to take medication. I'm sure this is one Dr. Barry would rattle off, but I had to Google it. Left ventricular hypertrophy, condition where the heart's main pumping chamber, the left ventricle, thickens and enlarges. So I don't know if this is a question or a comment here. I guess the only thing I can say is I had congestive heart failure, which LVH maybe sounds similar. It says the left ventricle thickens and enlarges. This can happen when it has to work too hard, such as when the blood pressure is high. I had congestive heart failure where my heart couldn't keep up with the needs in my body, and that went away after 1 year on carnivore. My ejection fraction was 44 before. It's perfectly normal after. It's all in my medical records. Of course, I'm just an anecdote, but I've talked to Dr. Philip Ovadia, heart surgeon who's performed thousands of surgeries, and he advocates for eating a proper human diet. He eats a carnivore diet, and that's what I would be doing.
Hypertrophy is basically a thickening of the heart wall, and just like you were dealing with congestive heart failure, it can impact your heart's ability to pump blood efficiently. So I have heard that it can be improved on the carnivore diet, but again, that would be a Dr. Ovadia question for sure.
Right.
But the medication, while he has this and it's an ongoing condition, I understand not wanting to take medication, but you got to look at, is your heart not pumping efficiently? Because if it isn't pumping efficiently, and for now, the medication can help it pump efficiently, it's going to benefit the rest of your body, because your blood getting to your brain, all your other organs, getting your tissues oxygenated is so important. So I know we kind of all don't want to take medication, but sometimes we just need to look at the full picture, and hopefully find a doctor that's carnivore friendly that could help with, a more long-term answer.
Sisse, how is shrimp different from sardines nutrition wise? I think sardines have more fat than shrimp. Other than that, I don't know. I'm not a big shrimp or sardine guy. You guys have any thoughts?
Shrimp has more iodine in it than sardines, by quite a bit more.
And shrimp is shellfish, so if there's any issues, it's more likely to have an issue if you have allergies. It's higher in histamine than other fish. A lot of, shellfish in general are higher in histamine. So if you have histamine issues, it could be more of an issue for you. The sardines from a histamine issue could be more because they're canned. And so the quality of the sardine that you get, but that's as far as reactivity. Nutrition wise, I don't know. I don't have to look at the nutrient profile.
Yeah, they're very similar, but iodine is the most significant thing that's in shrimp. And it's funny because I was very iodine deficient until I started taking a bunch of iodine, and when I did that, it started making me crave shrimp, which is funny because I've never craved seafood a day in my life, and now for the last month I've been eating pounds of butter poached shrimp and scallops. It's been crazy. And then as soon as I started doing that, my body felt better, and I lost 11 pounds like that. I thought I was going to gain weight from eating so much shrimp. I lost 11 pounds, so wow. I don't know. It's crazy. Lindsay
loses it. Just joined the Healing Humanity community. Oh, thank you, Lindsay.
Hey, all right. Awesome. Welcome. Welcome to the Good Vibe Tribe.
I can't wait to see what carnivore brings. Been carnivore for 1 month. Welcome, Lindsay. Appreciate it. Join some of those.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see you, Lindsay, on some of those Zoom calls. We do several a week. Those have been a lot of fun. All right.
Yeah, I
let's
love
see.
getting to actually have faces, interact with the members, all the people that we see in the comments that end up joining. It's so awesome to be on Zoom calls with them. You kind of have to feel like your family is expanding.
Oh yeah.
LaDonna, the carnivore camping patriot. Hello, everyone. I'm almost 4 months carnivore. My weight is 130 and I'm currently 65. If my weight is 130 and I'm currently 65, how much protein and fat should I be consuming each day? Thank you. That's a tricky question. I'll take a quick stab at this. I hate measuring stuff out. So someone else is probably better at answering this. If it were me and I were in your position, I would start with like ribeye or fatty meat, and I would eat until I'm comfortably full. Dr. Ken Berry talks about that a lot. The beauty on carnivore is not really weighing and measuring things out. Getting a good proportion of fat to protein is important, but I'm always so bad at answering these. So maybe someone else has a better one in terms of this, because I love the fact on carnivore I don't have to measure anything out. I listen to my body.
Mhm.
And things change depending on what stage. You say you're 4 months into carnivore. When I started carnivore, I was probably eating differently than I would eat on 4 months versus what I eat on 8 months. Like, it changed just for myself personally. So anyone else have any thoughts on this one?
There
Yeah, I
are
mean,
so many factors.
yeah.
Mm. Go ahead, Todd.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I know LaDonna. She has a little bit of an issue with fatigue right now too, and she thinks she's going through some gluconeogenesis, you know, and so
Mhm.
I think, and she's a little underweight, and so I don't know. I went through gluconeogenesis, and for most people that'll happen if you eat more than 35 to 40 grams of protein per meal, you know, in a sitting. You'll have a little bit of gluconeogenesis. And I think what she's probably asking is how much should she have, because she only wants to eat a couple, 2 to 3 times. And I do think you need about a pound or about a gram of protein per pound of lean body mass, but that means probably around 100 pounds, you know, of or about 100 grams of protein a day. But that should be fairly easy to do in 3 meals without spiking gluconeogenesis if you divide it up properly. But that's just my thought.
Yeah, well, it's good that you know, because I mean, when I see a weight of 130 pounds, it's really hard to say, I mean, are you 5'2"? Are you 5'8", 5'10"? You know, it's hard to tell whether or not that's a healthy weight or not. And, you know, a lot has to do with your own particular metabolism, your own metabolic rate, where you're at. So, yeah, Todd's answer is probably really good advice. And also that you may not be done with transitioning, you know.
Lioness hiker Diane Augustine. Aside from Dave Mack, do you know of others healed after a stroke with one-sided paralysis? I'm caring for a lady with this. She started carnivore 2 weeks ago, but needs prayer and encouragement.
Mimi.
Mimi, yeah.
Mimi Morgan, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't confirmed that I had a stroke, but they said they suspected I had a stroke when I went into the hospital before I started carnivore, and it took me 6 months, and I couldn't string together sentences. I couldn't grab the words for 6 months, and that did heal up. And so they said they couldn't confirm it because I was too big to put into an MRI at the time, which I guess I don't know. Lynn probably knows. Is that how you confirm a stroke? Is it an MRI?
That's the optimal, but you can with a CT scan too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they said
So,
that
but
they weren't sure.
yeah. If they want to really confirm it, yes, this MRI is the best way to do that. Yeah. And the thing is too, and we were just discussing that in our Healing Humanity Life Q&A. I brought up anticoagulants, and so I would just say with this lady that caring for, if she's had a stroke, the doctor, I'm sure, has her on anticoagulants. Hopefully it's not, it's the type where you don't need to have any labs done. But if she is on warfarin, starting carnivore and getting off of her vegetables can impact her anticoagulation. So It's if she is on warfarin or Coumadin, which is the brand name, it's really important to make sure she's getting her PT and INR checked, because you can't just change the quantity of vegetables you're eating and not impact the effectiveness of the warfarin. So I would say be careful with that and make sure that coordinating with the doctor.
Carnivore Cat, Kerry, would you please come to Toronto and do a carnivore meetup there? We have a lot of growing carnivore groups going strong. Interestingly, we've considered that. Jeff's wife, Martha, and the boys came down to visit, what was it, a month or two ago now? 2 months ago, maybe? And I'd love to. Carnivore Cat, if you really do have a large group growing there, maybe shoot me an email. The problem with a lot of this is organizing that and getting the group together. So if you already have a group, there could be a potential for that. So maybe shoot me an email, homesteadhow@gmail.com, and we could see if we could arrange something at some point. Would love to get back up there.
Yeah. And if you join Healing Humanity Life, we have a Canada group, and we have one for each province. And so hopefully we can get a lot of Toronto area carnivores. It's a good way to connect.
All right. The Praying Fairy, how did you give up sugar? I need some baby steps.
All at once. Sorry.
Maybe step number one, completely abstain forever.
Cold turkey is definitely the way I did it, but the cravings did not go away for a long time. That's the deal. You can't moderate sugar, and even a lot of people with the other whatever sweet receptors you have in your mouth with other alternate sweeteners and things like that. I mean, if you have a really bad sugar addiction, as we all pretty much did, you've got to get rid of it. You've got to do whatever you can and get diligent about reading the labels. There's sugar in things. What is it? It has just 27 different names that are on the back that are for sugar. And if you don't understand what it's in, I mean, there's sugar and salt. When I found that out, that blew my mind. I was like, are you kidding me? It's in everything. And so especially things like seasonings, a lot of people don't realize it's just a seasoning. Read the ingredients. So there's probably, especially if it's a barbecue rub, something like that you're putting on your meat, there's a lot of sugar in it.
Absolutely. And I lucked on to a handy little process that I started using just out of survival, because I get it. Quitting sugar, especially if you're really addictive, it can be miserable. And I was having anxiety attacks. I'd wake up having an anxiety attack in the morning and just needing sugar like it was the drug that it is. Mm-hmm. But I finally came up with a system that I couldn't eat the bad things until I ate bacon and eggs until I was stuffed. And just the only reason why I was doing that was because I knew enough to know that I didn't have leptin sensitivity, so I didn't have appetite control, but I did have stretch markers in my stomach that would shut off the noise if I filled up my stomach. So I would tell myself, I made a deal with myself that I couldn't have the sugar, the thing that I was having a panic attack about, until I ate bacon and eggs until I was stuffed. And so I did that every time. And what ended up happening was I'd be happy to go get the bacon and eggs, because in my head, I'm like, as soon as I get this down, I'm going to order pizza and drink soda and have ice cream, whatever. And what ended up happening after about 3.5 weeks was I woke up having a panic attack, but all of a sudden my brain went, we want bacon and eggs. That was the craving that was in my head when I was having a panic attack. It took about 3.5 weeks, and that swapped over. And I actually heard Kelly Hogan talking about anticipatory dopamine fixes and how that works. And I think that's what I actually was utilizing. And it makes sense, right? Because when I used to eat bad foods, I would start feeling happy and better while I was driving to go get the bad foods. I didn't even have to eat the bad foods yet. Just going there to get the bad foods was giving me a dopamine fix. And so just this idea of I'm going to eat this bacon and eggs and then I'm going to get a dopamine fix from the sugar later was making me feel better. And then my brain tied that to bacon and eggs, which actually changed the target of my habit from sugar to bacon and eggs, if that makes sense. And that was actually very powerful. And then I've used that trick 1,000 times over to change the target of addictions from bad things to good things that I used to have, and it's helped me a ton doing that.
That's so good. I've never heard that, Todd. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I found a hack early on for myself that drinking mineral water actually took away my sugar cravings. So at the beginning of my journey, that was my thing, was because I ripped the Band-Aid off like you guys did, just dealt with it. But the mineral water took the cravings away. And that was a big surprise. I didn't anticipate that.
Dr. Nelson says, I have 262 names for sugar. Yeah, I ripped the Band-Aid off too with the sugar. The only other advice I'd give you, this isn't maybe a baby step, but I don't know, maybe it is. I get a lot of people that try carnivore and they keep a little bit of sugar or artificial sweeteners, or they do really good all week and then they have a cheat day with some sugar in it. Don't do that. Like, if you're going to do carnivore, I really encourage you to 100% do carnivore for 30 days or 60 days and do it properly. Because if you keep a little bit of those artificial sweeteners or you indulge on the weekend, you're going to make those sugar cravings worse, and it's just going to perpetuate that addiction. If you just give it up completely, you'll get over it at some point. So that would be my advice.
And the craziest thing happens to your taste buds too, because once you're fully off sugar, all of a sudden non-sweet things start to taste sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. 139 days seem to have stalled. Weight hasn't budged in a week. Trying to stay positive.
Oh, that one's a week stall is not bad. I stalled for 6 months before, but so many good things are happening in a stall that we don't even understand. I actually love those stalls now because I'm healing. In those stalls, I am healing, and it's incredible what happens. And you just have to really just trust it and just stay the course. And I just had to stop. I had to stop making expectations that, because I was like, well, at this rate, I'm going to be here on this date and here on that month and whatever. And it's so silly to think that now. That I look back, but every stall that I've had, I mean, what a roller coaster ride this has been. Like, when I came back from Texas, I ended up losing like 96 pounds in like 3 months when I got back from Texas. And it was a lot from fasting, right? And then all of a sudden I tanked my metabolism again from over fasting. Then I had to reprime. I gained 53 pounds. And then when my body was happy, it just decided to drop like 25 of those pounds in a week, right? And so all I'm telling you is I have no clue everything that our bodies are doing. Obviously, I'm an extreme case because I started so big. But these stalls are not just stalls. The diet's still working, your body's still being nourished, but you are healing, and your body is doing something that I think is even beyond what we know. Then that's the beauty of carnivore. This isn't a weight loss diet. This is like a health optimization, nourishing, healing diet. And your body is just going to go through these dips and valleys, peaks and valleys. But trust me, it's going in the right direction as long as you're staying the course.
100%. Yeah. Booby Goats, what's your favorite carnivore t-shirt?
That one? If you put that on a t-shirt.
Nice. Yeah, Healing Humanity, I'd have to say. I don't know about you guys wearing that. You get some head turns. We're like, oh, what is that? What's going on? Yeah. My other one would be, I eat only meat, ask me why. That one's a little bit more of a conversation starter.
I think you need to have a t-shirt that says thankful, grateful, blessed.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And speaking of that, our good friend, everyone loves Bill Knott. He's in the chat. I was talking to Bill about this. I'm like, Bill, why don't you have a t-shirt? Prepare, or be kind to one another. He ends every video that, Bill, let's go. I'll help you out. We can get this going. That would be amazing. Who here in the chat would buy a Bill Knott t-shirt? Support Bill. Here we go. Right here. We got 5 sales already.
Yep.
Prepare, be kind to one another. Yeah, we got to get that going, Bill. Question, is carnivore for everybody? Who can't be on it?
I'll do the Dr. Berry answer.
Yeah.
Are you a human?
Okay, I have an answer for this. Okay. There are rare exceptions where it is contraindicated. There's 4. 3 of them are very rare genetic conditions that typically do not live past early infanthood. The other one is chronic intermittent porphyria. Other than that, there are no contraindications to it.
There's the technical answer.
So pretty much for everybody in most every case, except for a few rare ones.
Yeah. And honestly, the 3 out of the 4 of them, if you are an adult, you don't have it. So really for an adult, it would only be the porphyria.
Pa Beater, thank you so much. Gifted 5 Homestead How memberships. Really appreciate that. Every penny we get from those memberships goes towards the documentary. Again, huge thank you, huge gratitude to all the members, everyone that's donated to the GoFundMe. Members on the healinghumanity.life site. Proceeds from those things are going towards the documentary. We wouldn't be able to continue filming like we have been to get all these stories out there. So thank you so much, Pa Beater.
Pa Beater's big in the community too. He's great.
Yeah, legendary.
Yeah.
Speaking of legends, Alex, Carnivore for Life. Big shout out to Ashley for all the background comms and information for our meetup with Kerry and Adam. Thank you so much,
Yay.
Ashley.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, that's a lot of fun getting to do a little bit of behind the scenes, but there's a lot that goes on. Yeah, one of the things that I've been really blessed with here lately is getting to see a lot of the background of what's going on with Kerry and Adam in particular, and the amount of work they do putting this together. The traveling, the logistics, the coordination, the Healing Humanity Life website that Adam's done work so hard put together. It's really incredible to see all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And Alex, I appreciate the shout out, but I'm trying to do a small part in the behind the scenes roles. But I mean, these guys are putting in incredible efforts to get this done, and I can't wait. I feel blessed to be part of the little bit behind the scenes that I can be.
Oh, a big part.
Big part.
Yeah, these meetups wouldn't happen without you.
It's going to get bigger and bigger because these meetups are just, shoot, that one in Arizona is just going to be awesome. And it's just going to keep growing from there. And for those who don't know, we jokingly call it the Healing Humanity World Tour, but I'm telling you, we're going to continue to have these meetups at various locations all over the U.S. and maybe Canada and others that are coming up. But there's a level of community while you're watching YouTube. There's another level of community when you're in a community online. It's a whole nother level when you're in person at a meetup or on a retreat somewhere, Camp Carnivore, Todd, that we did in Austin or something. It's just, I'm telling you, when you're getting to spend time like that together, it's next level. So if you have an opportunity to do a meetup, be part of a meetup, go to a meetup, or plan a meetup yourself, I just encourage you to do it. It's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. It's almost like turning into a little bit of a movement. And I'm not saying that to pat ourselves on the back. It's just these stories we're sharing at each of these meetups, like this one in the UK. We've just got individuals coming up and just pouring their hearts out, sharing their inspiring carnivore stories. And it's really moving, and it's pretty awesome because most of us as carnivores, like I said, it's you're with like-minded people, but you're also with people that are getting a second chance at life. And there's just this need to get that story out there. And yeah, I'm hooked on it. I'd go to one every weekend if we could. So really appreciate you, Ashley. You're doing some incredible work.
Thank you.
If anybody wants to go on one of these meetups, it's healinghumanity.movie/events, and you can get your tickets there.
Yep, got it scrolling at the bottom now for a little bit, and yeah, because we got a couple. We got Arizona, Chicago, and more to come. So thank you. Broken Carnivore, I will be going to Acuna, Mexico on a mission trip next week and want to be prepared. Where can I get beef sticks or jerky recipes? Oh, you guys, we got some people here that can answer those questions. Adam, Ashley, what do you guys think?
So first of all, thanks for the question, Kelly. I believe your name's Kelly. You just joined healinghumanity.life. So welcome to the Good Vibe Tribe. And my question would be are you already in Mexico and you're going to another place in Mexico, or are you going across the border? Because if you're going across the border, you probably can't take meat with you. That's usually like a big no-no across the globe. So I personally use carnivore bars in that specific instance because it's a perfect meal with lots of fat, and it's okay to take those across the border. So That
You
would
can
be
take
my
fentanyl out with you, but you can't take meat in with you.
right. Yeah.
That's the inverted reality we live in.
Right.
And jerky, right? Shout
Jerky.
out Ashley.
Yes.
Ashley's got an incredible jerky recipe. I thank Ashley for that. And then I'm a little upset about it too, because the girls are like, can we do more jerky? Can we do more jerky? It's like, there's never enough. But that really helped me going to both Australia, and I made another batch of jerky going to the UK. And you can't take it over the border, like Adam said. So you get to scarf it all down on the airplane, which is great. I had a huge bag of jerky on both of those plane rides. It was incredible.
Yep.
Prepare.
But here's the thing, depending on how long you're in Mexico, I don't know how long your mission trip is, but if you're there long enough, you can get Ashley's recipe on his Carnivore Brothers YouTube and maybe make it while you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ashley lives in Texas, so maybe he'll just drive you some.
There you go. We'll just meet up at the border.
You're gonna have to throw it over the wall, Ashley.
Love it. Yeah, and I'll probably update that one, because actually, since making some of that jerky for Kerry and Adam and doing it salt only, that's become. I think in my video, I use some pepper and some garlic, which is an option for some people, and my parents and my wife and daughter love it that way. But that salt only works great too.
Yeah. I'm not trying to overhype this. This is sincere. That jerky recipe is so good. Like, you guys got to try Ashley's jerky. Like, I've had jerky over the years when you get it from the store and have all the sugar and junk on it. This is better than all of that. There's nothing in it. It's just that smoke and salt flavor. So good.
Ashley brought 2 bags of it to Texas, and we all devoured it.
It's gone. I've been dreaming about that jerky since.
Where's the rest of it?
Just make it, Todd. You can do it.
I got you. I'm waiting. I'm being a sissy. I'm waiting to get a meat slicer so that it can be uniform, because I got a little OCD that will make me freak out if I cut them all wrong.
Now make them ununiform. Then you can figure out what you like and what you don't like. Because I've cut them too thin sometimes, and they get too crispy for me. I like a little bit of chew.
That's the key. On the last one, I did them a little bit thinner, so I've got it dialed in now. This next time is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
My question, my belly is staying the same when I use the measuring tape. I should probably just be patient, ? Otherwise, I seem to lean out, though. Any thoughts in general?
Yeah, I mean, on these things, I really have gotten in a very comfortable spot with this where, it's just like I have to remind myself at the rate of decay that I was going through before, and how much sicker I was getting every day, every week, every month, every year. So even when you're not getting super lean, like Kilt says, our bodies like a little bit of weight on us, right? It's like your body fat is not your body's number one priority. We've been brainwashed to think that fat equals metabolic disease and sickness, and it doesn't. It's a parallel symptom, right? The same things that are giving us metabolic disease are also packing on the weight, but it's not the weight that's making us sick. So when we start to heal, it's kind of on the back burner to healing as far as our body is concerned. It's going to heal up before it starts dropping the weight. So in my personal experience, I've gotten very comfortable and just in a really happy place, just feeling good every day, waking up feeling fantastic. And whenever the lean part comes, it's going to come whenever the burning the fat comes, but every day just getting stronger is what I look forward to. So I would hope at a certain point everybody can kind of see that part of it and stop waiting, stop feeling like you're failing if you're not getting, this lean beach body or something right away. That takes time.
Yeah. And if you've been on it for a while, you're not eating dairy, that could possibly cause a problem, then it may just be a matter of being patient. But if you're eating dairy, you could maybe do a trial off dairy, see if that helps. Yeah.
For sure.
Resting witch face. I'm 63 and I've lost 50 pounds, but need to lose another 50. With the holidays here, I am struggling. Any suggestions to keep me on the straight and narrow?
Yes, join our Breaking Addictions group.
Yes. Community. Yeah,
Community's
you gotta be
huge.
plugged in. You got to be plugged into community. We are here to help support you. We're all in the same situation, getting through the holidays. Yeah, in the Healing Humanity Life, a lot of people are busy with family, but we are going to have a holiday hangout Christmas Eve and Christmas morning for anybody who needs extra support. So we're here for you, but be prepared as well.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the holidays, decide what you're going to do. Be prepared. And if you need to tell your family that you're just going to eat meat, the main thing is you're there for people. You're not you got to decide you're not there for the food. You're there for the people that you love and that you want to spend time with. And hopefully they'll be okay with that. And if they're not and they give you a hard time, you can just let them know, look, this is, I'm allergic to carbs, I have a problem and I'm just here for you. And if you fall off the wagon, get right back on. We are in our community. It's no judgment zone. It's a no judgment zone. So just don't let it make you go completely off the rails, and just, you can go start right back over again, and don't beat yourself up. Don't consider yourself a failure. We're here to uplift you and uplift each other, and we can do this. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah. Eat as much bacon as possible. Stay full if you can.
Yeah.
Keep that purse bacon around. Maybe avoid parties or situations that might cause you to stumble as well.
Yeah, and to what Lynn just said and what Adam is saying there, it's a lot of that's preparation, and knowing if I'm going into a holiday party that there's probably not going to be a lot of food options you can eat. Eat beforehand so you're already full. Plan ahead and try and do that. It'll be a lot less tempting if you're satiated already, or bring it with you and have an alternate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Carnivore, the power of healing. Just to make sure, you are giving away a cow. What a wonderful idea. Absolutely. Top prize.
That would be really cool.
Right? Speaking of,
if you get 2,000 members tonight, then we'll make it a cow.
right? Awesome.
I do love that idea, though. That is a great idea.
Very good
Grand
idea.
prize. I love it.
Away some steaks or something. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Just real quick, for those of you that are jumping on here later, we are doing several giveaways, including a 1-month membership to healinghumanity.life, some shirts, and some memberships to the site. So if you're interested in doing that, you have to follow each of the individuals that are on the live stream in the description below, and then leave a comment with, what's the words again?
Ribeye.
Ribeye. Oh, it's on the bottom of the screen. There we go.
It's hashtag ribeye, right? It has to have the hashtag.
Yep, hashtag ribeye.
Hashtag ribeye. So we got a little bit of time left, so make sure if you got a question or just even a comment, you can post it with just a comment. Do that as well. Sincere question: why would humans be the only mammals that can't eat non-GMO fruit vegetables? Keto seems like that is more natural than strict carnivore. Keto seems like that is more natural than strict carnivore.
Yeah, the vegetables, I guess. Basically, she's saying non-GMO vegetables. Why can't we eat them? And why wouldn't that be more nutrient dense than carnivore? And to me, whenever anybody says this, it's like, there's all sorts of poisonous plants out there, just like Chafee's always talking about. And I have been absolutely floored to find out by, I think Jordan Peterson says it right, that carnivore and lion and all this animal-based stuff, really it's just an animal-based elimination diet so that you can test for yourself. You can be your own N=1 and see what it is. And I've been floored by the things that are really the culprits of the things that cause me problems, like black pepper. I had no idea black pepper made me so inflamed and sick. I had garlic for the first time in 23 months the other day because I thought, I'm going to try a bit of the garlic with the shrimp and see, because I always used to have shrimp and garlic together with butter. And both my knees swelled up after having garlic just one time. and I had inflammation in my knees for 3 days from garlic. So I know it seems crazy, but it's just my point of view. Until I think everybody owes it to themselves to try strict carnivore for 90 days and then trying those things back in one at a time and see for yourself why those plants aren't necessarily a good idea for everybody.
So I've got a couple things. So I think that for there's people that ketogenic diet is a spectrum. So there's people who are very strict and need to be extremely strict, like I had to do. Beyond just a lion diet, I had to do a low histamine lion diet. There's people who do fine on a ketogenic diet. I think a lot has to do with your initial, like your baseline metabolic health, where you're at with your health. And so whether it's more natural than strict carnivore, a lot of people would agree, honestly, that seems more natural, because when you look at our ancestors, when they did go out and they foraged, they ate berries when they were in season. And if it's just seasonal, you may do perfectly fine. Some people don't know how they're doing until later, when they start experiencing, these typical aging, signs, aches and pains, different things like arthritis that pop up. So it's hard to say. I think we're still so early in the whole carnivore movement, I guess, to know for sure, like the lack of studies to know for sure what the long-term consequences are of having any vegetables and fruits in your diet versus having none. So I totally understand the question for sure. And so I'd say that a ketogenic diet is going to be better than the standard American diet. And for some people that have more healing to do, they need to go strict carnivore. If you have autoimmune disease, if you have an immune system disease like I do, you need to go lion diet. So it's a very complex question.
Yeah,
Well
for
said.
sure. Yeah. Last thing I'll say is keto seems like that is more natural than strict carnivore. I would just disagree on the front that I believe a lot of these fruits and vegetables that a lot of people deem so healthy are a lot worse for us than we realize. There's so much stuff going on with these now, with pesticides and glyphosate and forever chemicals on these things. Apples that have wax coating on them and stuff like that. That's not natural. If we were talking about natural fruits and vegetables as they were maybe 50 years ago, where they were grown in nutrient-rich soil, instead of the soil we have nowadays, they're just blasting them with chemicals. A lot of the fruit now, you look at an apple, it's just like a big, huge softball full of sugar because we've engineered it to be sweeter and sweeter. So a lot of these things are far from natural than what they used to be.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what would happen if we went back to the way fruits and vegetables used to be before we completely messed with them. And that's not to mention too the nutrient depleted soil that they're grown in. So hopefully you've got good people who are doing regenerative farming and they're replenishing their soil, and that might be a little better. But so much of our soil is completely depleted of nutrients that who knows how much actually getting as far as nutrients from that food anyways, but maybe 100 years ago would have been better.
Right. Papa Carnivore, Nancy, I met Kerry, Adam, Dr. Kiltz, and Dr. Nelson at a meetup a few months ago in Melbourne, Florida. It was my first meetup, and it was epic. Yeah. And old guy Carnivore Mitch was there too. It was epic for sure.
Yeah. That was fun meeting you.
Yeah. Peter, Papa Carnivore. JM, question, Lynn, I'm having horrible histamine issues since having COVID. Joint pain is horrible and restless leg syndrome.
So if you want to reach out to me, you can definitely, first of all, if you join Healing Humanity Life, you can reach out to me. We can absolutely connect. If you want to reach out to me, you can get me on my, through Instagram, Midlife Carnivore. But very often, if you're having really horrible histamine issues, of course, you need to be low histamine carnivore. I do have a video on my YouTube channel, Midlife Carnivore, that goes into a lot of detail on that. But I know people are going to yell at me, but when it comes to histamine, and if you're really bad, you probably are going to need to be on for a period of time H1 and H2 blockers just to settle things down. Because especially you may be mast cell activation syndrome, which is what I have, one of the conditions I have. And COVID can trigger mast cell activation syndrome in some individuals. And if your mast cells are dysfunctioning, you're continuing to have histamine issues, H1 and H2 blockers will settle it down. And it doesn't mean you have to be on them forever, but it help you get them to chill out and quit overreacting. And then you can wean off of them. And part of it is going to be going low histamine with the carnivore diet. You can't necessarily control your environmental triggers, but you can definitely control your dietary triggers. So if you're not working with a doctor who is familiar with the histamine issues, try to find one. It would probably be an allergist, and talk to them about mast cell activation syndrome. They may or may not know anything about it, but but H1, H2 blockers would be the first thing that I would say. And they're over the counter, but work with your doctor about getting that flare. It sounds like you're having a flare, and getting that flare under control. Yeah.
Good stuff. Carnivore for Life, Alex. How do we get a hold of a Healing Humanity baseball cap?
Good question. Yeah, we haven't been very good about promoting those. So if you go to healinghumanity.movie and click on the merch tab at the top, you should be able to find them there. But they're ready to go.
Healinghumanity.movie.
I'm waiting for a Healing Humanity Stetson. When are you guys getting those in the store?
Soon. What's the best way to cook a half a strip loin chunk? 6.8 pounds.
Smoker. I do the strip loins in the smoker all the time. They're delicious.
Smoker. That's what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Nancy C. Question. How is Jen doing, Kerry? She is doing absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Nancy. She's feeling better than she ever has most of her life. And she has been putting the work in as I've been traveling around with Adam, filming for the documentary, managing the house, the homestead, the movie theater, everything. So she's doing fantastic. And by the way, in 10 days from now, we're celebrating 30 years together. We've been together since age 14. It'll be 30 years exclusively together in 10 days. I have 10 days to figure out what to do. So any suggestions will be appreciated. It's really hard to figure out after 30 years of 30 anniversaries. It's hard to figure out something unique.
Well, you got some comments on your post asking for advice.
Yeah. Appreciate it. I gotta go back and look through those, to be honest. One more reminder quick. Hashtag ribeye. We're going to be wrapping things up here. We're still going to take a bunch of questions, but we got a little while left. We want to see how many people we can get. So if you use hashtag ribeye, you'll be entered in to win several of the giveaways we're doing here at the end of this call. Thunder of Hell Death. Hi, I'm on carnivore, but I keep being told that I'm dumb for being on carnivore by my family, and I'm having a hard time staying motivated. Any advice?
Community. You got to stay plugged in.
Yep.
Definitely. And watch people's testimonials. That's helped me stay motivated. You know.
That's what I was going to say. Also, it kind of depends on what your why is, right? You want to know why and what's the change, because that's where you can watch other testimonials of others who have a similar or have had a difficult challenge the same as you, and you'll find that encouraging. The other way, like Lynn said, if you have a community, that's the other reason. Post what it is. What's your why? What are you trying to heal from? What are your reasons for wanting to start on carnivore? I guarantee you there's other people that have experienced it already, or if not, they'll travel down that road with you. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah. One other thing I'd say real quick too is one of the things that helped convince me to do carnivore was the fact all of these good doctors. So you have Dr. Philip Ovadia. The man's performed thousands of heart surgeries. Pretty smart guy. You have Dr. Jordan Peterson, who's been doing carnivore for years now and thriving. Pretty smart guy. Dr. Robert Kiltz, 600 employees, several fertility clinics. Pretty smart guy. I could go on and on with this. Dr. Barry, Dr. Baker, Dr. Chafee. Dr. Chafee's performed brain surgery on people, and he eats this way. So pretty smart guy. So people that are saying this is dumb, that's something to consider or think about.
You know, honestly, someone's telling you you're dumb. They're probably not going to listen to anything you say. So, I mean, it's sad. But again, get your labs, your baseline labs, get follow-up labs, live it. show it, but if someone was telling me I was dumb, I wouldn't even bother engaging with them.
Right. Beth says, hello, everyone. Can we do any type of fiber on carnivore?
Like a supplement?
I would want to know why. Like, why would we want to do fiber? So, I mean, the question is, are you constipated? That was my first question. Because first of all, I mean, I was a GI nurse, so I preached fiber to everybody back then when I was not a carnivore. So you don't need fiber to get things moving through. Fiber is very hard on your colon. It's completely indigestible. Bulk in your colon is probably one of the reasons why we have diverticula, colon polyps, little micro abrasions and stretching of the colon too big, causing damage to the interior wall of the colon, is very much a fiber thing. And so if you're having issues with your gut as far as mobility, you want to look at your fat intake. So I would definitely want to know like what the reason is, but there is no need for fiber. The fat in your fluids are going to be the key with moving things through. I also wouldn't be too worried if you're not having daily bowel movements. I mean, the doctors will tell you you're supposed to have at least one bowel movement a day. And they'll tell you it's better to have 2 or 3 bowel movements a day. As carnivores, we don't poop as much because we don't have much waste. And so as long as you're not bloated and uncomfortable, and as long as you're not straining, then you're okay. I've had times where I've gone 2 weeks without the bowel movement. I've had times where I've gone a week. I have times where I go every day. And really my fluid intake and my fat, the type of fat too makes a difference. If you're constipated, more liquid form of fat, rendered fat, will help move things along. And your body's going to tell you when you've had too much, because then you'll end up with the opposite problem. If you're having the opposite problem, less rendered fat, more fat that's just room temperature, solid room temperature or cold. So that would be my response. You guys can chime in.
Yeah, I think that's good. Need a little bit more info. We're going to try to go into a bit of a turbo round because we're getting near the end here. So we're going to try to answer some of these quickly. Cheryl, how do I join Zoom calls? If you join healinghumanity.life, there's a link in the description below with the promo code. We have the Zoom calls, and that's how you get access to the Zoom calls. You have to be a member on the site. I hope that answers your question.
And
otherwise, if you're a member,
events,
right, events page. Yeah, if you're already a member, go to the events page and you can get all the information right there. Kara said, love the care in this group. Glad I popped in. Looks like I'm going to stay. Great advice and care. Oh, thank you, Kara.
Thank you, Kara.
How do I kick the coffee? I put heavy cream in it, and I think it's really stalling my progress. Any tips to help with energy?
I
Caffeine
quit
pills?
coffee before with caffeine pills, so that'll get rid of the coffee and the cream at the same time, and help keep your energy up if you need that kick, and then gradually cut down on the amount of caffeine pills that you're actually taking until they're gone.
Right.
And if you have low energy, you may not be eating enough.
True.
I'm on day 6 with the holiday dinners on the horizon. I'm feeling anxiety as the elephant in the room. Any tips on how to overcome all the questions I'll be receiving? Sorry, I'm new. It's a great question. The one thing I'd say is it's probably going to be less than you think. If people are asking you, this is something someone said before, and it's so true. People may ask you because it's kind of unusual. You're only eating meat, but usually it's actually out of concern. Like, are you okay? Are you comfortable? Are you sure? Sort of thing. But in reality, the thing that I have learned is most people really don't care about you. I'm sorry that sounds harsh, but they care about themselves. They really don't care about other people. They may ask or may be weird for a little bit. If you get into conversations with people, a good and true thing to say is, I'm doing this strict elimination diet. If you say the word carnivore, then you might have to do some more discussion. I don't mind because I like talking about it, but if you want to avoid those conversations, then maybe just say I'm doing a strict carnivore diet or strict ketogenic diet. Both of those things are true. Strict elimination diet or strict keto diet. Both of those things are true and maybe a little bit easier to talk to people. Carnivore Cheer said, Ashley, is your jerky recipe on the HH Life recipes page?
Busted.
Busted. Not yet, Lori. You probably knew that answer. No, not yet. It's because the recipe page is great because it does ask a lot of specific questions, some measurements, some other things like that, and I have to just take the time to do all that and do that. But it is on my YouTube channel.
Follow up from Jets, who just asked the previous question and is new. SAD is standard American diet. So there you go. Beth asked, is there such a thing as dirty carnivore, like adding broccoli to a steak dinner? Anyone want to take that one?
I would say the only reason why I like broccoli on my steak or on my plate when I get a steak is if my steak isn't eating the broccoli, it's overcooked. So
I think technically that's more of a ketogenic diet if you're adding vegetables. So I don't, to me, dirty carnivore would be more like adding artificial things. Because if you're adding broccoli, it's probably ketogenic.
Sometimes dirty carnivore might be considered if it's just occasionally, they throw that in occasionally maybe. But
Brett, who's your carnivore? Thank you so
Hello,
much.
Brett.
Gifted 5 Homestead How memberships. Again, really appreciate that. All those proceeds go 100% to the documentary. I think we can do one more. I'm so sorry we ran out of time. We're gonna take these questions on and still answer them on the next one. We missed a few here. FX Trader, is your heartbeat still steady? I had the same problem, but it seems to get better on carnivore diet. It is, and I've had it tested I think 3 or 4 times. When I went in, the nurse tested it, then the doctor, and then the cardiologist, and the thing. And every single time, and it's completely. My congestive heart failure reversed, first of all, but my lifelong irregular heartbeat is completely normal on carnivore, and yes, it still is, which blows my mind. It's just crazy. So
incredible.
And out of all of those that you just mentioned, the one who knows you the best, your wife was the first one who said, "Wait, this is all normal. This is different." And
right.
You all your life for that.
And then, like a jerk, I was like, "You don't know what you're talking about. Well, you're not a doctor. What do you? This is no way. That's not possible." And then I drove myself to Walgreens and bought a stethoscope, and here we are now. So she was right. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for the questions. Should we do the drawing now and pick some winners?
Do it.
Yeah.
Spin
All
that
right.
wheel.
Let's see here. So I'm going to share my screen. Hashtag ribeye. Thank you all for everyone that entered the drawing here. What are we going to give away first, Adam?
Let's give away a healinghumanity.life membership, 1 month membership.
1 month membership. Here we go. We're going to do the drawing now. We need some sound effects. Anyone? Oh, don't say Homestead How. Oh, yes. You know, the only one I put in, the only hashtag I put in was the example.
That's funny.
All right, we'll do one more. We'll give you another one.
Oh, I saw carnivore today in there.
Could you imagine? A beautiful day,
All
121.
Love it.
You just won a 1 month membership. Adam, how do they claim the membership?
Well, we haven't set up the email yet, so I think it's going to have to be homesteadhow@gmail.com.
Homesteadhow@gmail.com. Shoot me an email and in the subject put winner, and we will verify and make sure it's you. So please only do it if it's actually a beautiful day, 121. So that's the first one. What do we want to give away next?
T-shirt.
T-shirt. Healing Humanity. Power of a Proper Human Diet T-shirt is going to the next winner. Beth.
Awesome.
Beth.
Homesteadhow@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. T-shirt winner in the subject line.
And your size.
And your size. Yep. Next giveaway is what, Adam?
1 month Healing Humanity Life membership.
1 month membership. And by the way, we're going to be doing these live Q&As regularly. Is that right? Every Tuesday night,
week.
Same time. So check back. Adam!
What are the odds?
This is so rigged. What is going on
Rigged.
here? We'll redraw that one. There's 56 entries, Adam. Mac.
Wow.
Mac is the winner of a 1 month membership.
Awesome.
All right.
Healing Humanity. We got another shirt.
Congratulations. Now
Shirts.
we're doing a T-shirt.
Another T-shirt. Healing Humanity T-shirt. Lambs, Lamz. Congratulations, Lambs.
I am.
You want a Healing Humanity t-shirt, please email homesteadhow@gmail.com and include the size of the t-shirt and your ship to information, and we'll send one of those out to you. Was that it?
And one more 1 month membership.
One more. Here's the final 1 month membership to healinghumanity.life. 3, 2, 1, boom. And for those of you that didn't win but still want a membership, you can get 50% off now if you use the promo code in the description. Mark Johnson. Hey, I think I know who Mark Johnson
Already a
is.
member.
Yeah, he's already a member.
Oh,
Already a
he's a-
member.
what do we do in that case?
Draw again.
A draw
Well,
again.
okay.
He could, yeah.
Yeah, what we've done before is give them the next month free because
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do
We can
that.
do
That's
that.
fair.
Yeah, we
he-
can do that.
kind of sucks to take away a prize from
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, Mark Johnson is awesome. I'm pretty sure Mark commented on the previous.
Yes.
Yeah. So shout out, Mark. You got an extra free month in there. Just shoot us an email. We have your info because you're in there, but shoot us an email anyway, homesteadhow@gmail.com, and we'll get that sorted for you. And that concludes our drawing and our Tuesday night live Q&A, our inaugural one. We're going to be doing this every Tuesday, so be sure to mark your calendars and check back. Thank you, everyone, for your comments, your support. You guys are helping us do this documentary. We couldn't do it without you. And thank you for all of these individuals on the call. Adam, Ashley, Lynn, Todd. Make sure you go check out, subscribe to all their channels. Links in the description below. Thank you guys all so much. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good night.
Bye for now.
Good night.
Bye for now. Got to push this button.